Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about TCP Intercept. But first I'd like to talk about TCP Process in case you might need a refresher on it. Let's say Snoopy is sitting at his computer and surfing the web and would like to visit this website, mcugly.com. This means that this is an HTTP server and this is an HTTP client. We know that HTTP protocol writes over TCP, and before these two devices start the exchange of data, they need to be synchronized, right? Here the client, I mean Snoopy, sends a TCP SYN packet in which it says, okay, my sequence number is 100. Say this number is generated randomly, and how it is generated entirely depends on the system it is generated. And I assume you already know why we need these numbers. The server receives the SYN message and it sends a SYN and ACK message, which means, okay, my sequence number is 200 and I'm acknowledging your packet which had this number 100, and I'm asking for the next one, 101, right? That's it. Here the server is in SYN received state, and the connection is known as half established. Now please listen carefully here. The server keeps all these half established connections in these blue queues. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue queues. Basically this blue queue, say, is known as a TCB, not P, please pay attention. It's TCP, transmission control block. And it contains information about the source and destination IP address and TCP ports, status of connection, and so on and so forth. I think that's what it contains. And all these queues are kept in a place called TCP backlog, this red square. And if I increase the size of TCP backlog, we can have more blue queues, I mean TCBs, right? Okay, so as soon as the server receives a SYN and then it sends SYN and ACK messages, this connection is going to be in half established mode state, and these half established connections will be in these blue queues, but they are later moved to another queue called active queue. I'm not showing you here, I didn't draw it, but they will be moved to, I mean these connections will be moved into active queue only when their state changes to established. Please pay attention here, only when their state changes to established. So let me continue. And the client sends, Snoopy sends acknowledgement 201. And here the TCP connection has been established. That's it. And say this blue queue was the one we were using, and they have literally synchronized their sequence numbers. Here the half established connection moved from the queue and it is put into active queue. See, there is a potential problem here. When Snoopy, say he's an hacker, he sends a flood of SYN requests, but he does not respond with acknowledgements, thus causing the queue filled up with all these half established connections, right? Because all these queues are freed up only when the connection states change to established. When the TCP backlog is filled up, because all these blue queues are filled now, any new connections will be denied, whether it is a legitimate for or not. In fact, what a TCP SYN flood detect does is it simply depletes the backlog. It tries to fill the entire backlog. This is a big problem, right? And so let's see how Cisco routers can help us prevent this attack. I have placed a router between the server and Snoopy, and this router can protect this attack. Basically, it can intercept the TCP process. It says intercept here. This router will intercept the TCP process between these two devices, or it can watch the TCP process between Snoopy and the server. So I'll show you the difference. First, let's start with intercept mode. Okay, so let's talk about intercept mode. I have placed a router, and this router will intercept the TCP process, which means when Snoopy tries to access our server using a TCP connection, this router intercepts this requests, because the SYN message will arrive here, and pretends this guy here pretends to be this server, and it will complete the connection to Snoopy. Once the connection is complete, it will set up a second TCP connection to the server, and then the router will bind these two connections. Basically, this router will act as a proxy here. I think the way it does this will be far clearer when we start configuration. Okay, so this is my configuration. Okay, so in fact, I'm using 3 routers. They're all routers in GNS3, and this is my router. I will use, I think, 5 or 6 steps to configure TCP Intercept mode. Step 1 is this: I need to enable TCP Intercept mode, because I will be using Intercept mode here. So what I'm going to do is conf IP TCP Intercept mode, and when I do question marks, I see 2 options, and I'll go for the first one, Intercept mode. Excuse me. Intercept, that's it. This is the first step. IP TCP Intercept mode intercept. It means I'm using the intercept mode. And the second step, step 2, is this: I need to tell this router who he will be protecting. So I will be creating an ACL and apply it. So here's how I do it. IP access list extended. I'll name it protect MC ugly, and permit TCP any hosts. The IP address of the server is 192.168.1.19 and equal to, excuse me, equal 80. Yes, I have created an ACL and I have to apply it to TCP Intercept. IP TCP Intercept lists. My ACL was this one. That's it. I'm done. This is step 2. Now step 3. I will define 2 thresholds, a low threshold and a high threshold. First, I'll type the command and then explain it. IP TCP intercept max incomplete, low 900, high 1100. I'm using these values because these are the default values. So let's explain this command first. When the router or when the number of half open connections reaches the high threshold, which is 1100 here, and the router receives a new connection, it drops the half open connections until the number falls to the low threshold. This is exactly what it means. I'm using these values for the other default values, as I said before. Yes. So step 4, I will define another 2 thresholds. Again, first let me type the command, then I'll explain. IP TCP intercept 1 minute, low 900, high 1100. That's it. What it means is when the number of half open sessions within the last minute, this is what it means, last minute, exceeds the high threshold, the router drops them until it goes below the low threshold. That's it. Okay. And okay, so say for example, if the number of incomplete connections exceeds 1100, or the number of connections arriving in the last minute exceeds 1100, each new arriving connection will be dropped, right? But how? Okay, I'll show you. Is IP TCP Intercept drop mode ? We have two options, and I think these two options speak for themselves, right? The router may drop either the oldest or any random sessions. I'll say oldest. That's it. So I would like to squeeze here a piece of information. When the router tries to establish a connection, a TCP connection to both sides, like because he's going to be establishing a TCP connection between Snoopy and this server, and if one of the sites does not respond, our router resends the packets using an exponential backoff algorithm, meaning, for example, it resends the second TCP scene message in 1 second, and the third scene in 2 seconds, and the fourth in 4 seconds, and the fifth in 8 seconds, and the sixth in 16 seconds, and this takes 31 seconds. So when it comes to deleting these excessive connections, it cuts all timers in half. And dropping the connections and reducing the timers is called aggressive mode. Okay, so, and steps 5, 6, I think this is step 6. IP TCP intercept connection timeout 30. So what does this mean? By default, the router will manage a connection for 24 hours after no activity, meaning TCP Intercept will close any connection that has been open for 30 seconds, because I said 30, with no activity. This is the amount of time this TCP Intercept maintains an inactive connection. And then this router will send a reset packet, I think to both sides. I reckon we are done with the configuration, so I'll do debug IP TCP intercept, yes, because I want to see the packets. I want to see what is happening. This is my command here, debug IP TCP intercept. I'm going to go to Snoopy and send some HTTP requests from it and see what happens. Okay, so this is Snoopy. Yes. Telnet 192.168.1.19 and port number 80, right? I think it should be like yes. Port number 80. That's it. Open. I'm done. So this is my router. So let's read them. It says, I'm receiving a new connection. It's receiving a scene packet from Snoopy going here, and acknowledgement. So basically, this router is acting on behalf of server, and it says the server is sending an acknowledgement as scene packet, which is a big lie, and then an acknowledgement is coming from Snoopy. This is the first half of the connection. That's it. And then, excuse me. Where is it? Yes. And then this router will create another connection with this server. It will send this packet to the server, and here we have, I think, where is it? Yes, this one, and then this one. That's it. So this is the, it should be here. As soon as it receives a packet, it receives acknowledgement in the second connection is established, and it is also sending this acknowledgement message. So basically, this is what happens. All these messages show that this router established one connection to Snoopy and another connection to server. Then it will combine, it will bind these two connections. That's it. So please pay attention here. This server will send a message to both sides, like as if it's coming from Snoopy. It says Snoopy is sending a reset message to server, and server is sending a reset message to this one. I don't know if you remember, but we configured an inactive time. It was 30 seconds or something. That's it. So let me do the same thing again, and I'm gonna be using yes, show TCP intercept connections. I'm going to show you. See, it says to show TCP intercept connections. It's a useful command. This is the client's IP address using this port number and server. It's established, and mode is intercept. I stands for intercept here. And we can also use statistics. Yes. So we have one established connection, as you see. That's it. I think that's enough for now. It's a nice feature that the intercept mode removes the processing of a lot of TCP SYN plots from the internal server, right? It doesn't have to deal with all these TCP SYN plots. But even when a TCP SYN flood is not happening, the router is still intercepting the process, right? Which places a heavy burden on it. Okay, so now let's talk about TCP Intercept watch mode. And before that, I would like to pause the video for a second, because I'm going to be using another topology, I guess. Yes, I'm back. Here the router does not sit in the path of TCP connections. I'll be talking about watch mode, and this router here will be watching the TCP process, simply watching the TCP process. There is a timeout called watch timeout, and if the connection between Snoopy and TCP server during this time, I mean watch out time, is not established, the router forcefully injects reset messages to the server. It will cause the server to free up the allocated resources. Here the router is in passive mode. The router does not intercept the SYN packets, but it passes them through the server. Snoopy will be sending a SYN message like this, and the server should be sending SYN and ACK, and then Snoopy should be sending the last message, which is acknowledgement message. So he'll be watching it. If there is a problem, it will send reset message to the server. Okay, and like I said, the router monitors incomplete TCP connection. It will close it if it is not completed after a certain period of time, which is by default 30 seconds. I mean watch out time. In this example, I will configure an ACL also, which will cause the TCP connection to fail. Snoopy will be sending a SYN message to the server, and I will place an ACL here, which will block the response. And this dog here, which is watching the process, will be doing what? Let's see. First, I need to enable the intercept mode, conf-t, IP TCP intercept mode watch, and then I will do the same thing. Like if you remember, I configured an ACL just to tell the router who he will be protecting, right? I'm going to do the same thing here. IP access list, extended protect MC Yagli, that's it, MC Yagli, and permit TCP host 192.168.1.19 equal to 80. What is it? I permit TCP any, right? Permit TCP any, come from anyone, and going to this host 192.168.1.19 equal 80, and that's it. IP TCP intercept list protect MC ugly. That's it. Okay, this is step 2. Now step 3 is this. This is different. IP TCP intercept watch timeout is say 10 seconds. Now let me talk about this command for a second. This command only makes sense when we use the watch mode. This is the first thing that you should keep in mind. And when it is in aggressive mode, this timeout is reduced by half. Okay, step 4. This time I need to configure an ACL which will cause the connection to fail. Like I said, I didn't do the same thing when we were studying this TCP Intercept mode, but I will do it here. IP access lists extended block TCP block TCP and deny TCP, say any and established and permit IP any. That's it. Any. Cool. And the interface, this interface is interface F0 by 0 and IP access list access group, excuse me, block TCP in. That's it. This access list will block SYN ACK message from the server, and it will cause the connection to fail. So this router will be watching the process. It should, this TCP connection is supposed to be established within 30 seconds. And watch mode uses the same timers as the intercept mode, so I won't bother configuring them. Okay, I'll do debug like I did before. Debug IP TCP intercept, right? That's it. So I'll go to this PC and I'm gonna send the send packet and some HTTP request. That's it. So let's see. What happened? Yes, it's resending messages. I think it passed like 10 seconds, right? Yes, it should. Because the connection, see, he sent a SYN message. This Sinopi sent a SYN message to this server, but it didn't receive a message from this server because it was blocking on this interface. And then what it did is he forcefully injects a RST message from the server. Yes, exactly. This is what it happened. I think I'm done. I hope my video helped you understand TCP Intercept, and please leave your comments if you have any questions, and thanks for watching it.